Hey lovelies. I had a slightly unusual week this week because I was working from home the whole week. I've got a bit of a deadline coming up and I just it was one of those things where it's like if I'm at work, I will be asked to do other things when I needed to focus and get some stuff done. So I've done a lot of kind of cozy and easy and quite light perfumes this week. Um, I'm just trying to think. There was only one that turned out to be really strong. So I think I've got one that I do actually think is going to be a declutter this week. But apart from that, let's start with a really simple, easy one. Can wear it any time. This is Born Lovely from Sarah Jessica Parker. I've worn this quite a lot and I still haven't got a very big dent in it, but of course this is a 100ml bottle. The colour has changed slightly. It's gone ever so slightly yellow compared to what it was when I first got this. I have the body spray as well though, and sometimes I do actually wear the body spray because that one is, I'd say strength wise it doesn't feel like there's a massive difference, but I think this one does actually last a while on me, but it's quite subtle. And I think some people can't really smell this, but I can smell it really clearly. The body spray is slightly less woody than this one is the main difference, I would say. And it's just so fresh, pretty. Again, like some people would call this a gym scent. I think of it as a Saturday morning scent. That's kind of my favourite time to wear it. So this is mainly, to me, a peony and cassis perfume, but the more I wear it, the more I think I do get a bit of a sense of the honeysuckle, and I think Sarah Jessica Parker loves honeysuckle. It's in so many of her perfumes, and I love her for that. So this is peony, cassis and mandarin orange in the top, and you get all of those. Then the mid notes are freesia, orange blossom and honeysuckle, and I think you just get a hint of all of those. Base notes cedar, patchouli and caramel. The caramel just stops this being from screechy and too sharp. The patchouli, I don't get loads of patchouli personally in this, a little bit. The cedar though is slightly strong, but it's watery, this perfume. It's like almost feels aquatic. I love it. It's just a really easy one to wear. It's just so pretty. So yeah, Born Lovely. That was one of them. I've talked about it a million times and it's such a bargain, so you guys know the drill with that. So I was so happy. Oh no, I forgot to pick up the box. When I talk about these, I'm going to make a little video, but when I talk about these again, I will show you the box because what I do at the moment is when I've had samples of things that I really like, if they are things that are quite expensive and I don't want to buy them full price, I will use my money from my eBay sales to then try and get something either secondhand or discounted or like a partial bottle on eBay. So that is how I got Eau Duelle EDP. So you can see that the EDPs are darker bottles. They have black all around the side. So beautiful. I love Eau Duelle. This is like, maybe top 20 for life, the Eau Duelle general profile. I love this. I've yet to find anything that I think smells exactly like Eau Duelle at a more affordable price. So that's why I decided to invest. Oh, just quick shout out to Portia Parfum because that's one of my subscribers who has been supporting me really nicely by buying some of my perfumes off eBay. So thank you, my love. That's amazing. So you helped buy me Eau Duelle EDP. And I think I got this for, I think it was £65 or £70 or something. And I sold over £100 worth of stuff that month. So I bought this and it's just so gorgeous. And I'm finding it's just absolutely lush. They're both so lovely. I think Eau Duelle is such a beautiful perfume. And again, at the moment, my suggestion for if the thing you like about it is the green vanilla, then I'd say get Green Lover by Lolita Lempicka. If what you like about Eau Duelle is the kind of the slightly fluffy but sheer, not too gourmand vanilla, then Lalique Le Parfum is the one that I'd say to go for because neither of them smell exactly like this, but they both have elements of it, if you see what I mean, and they're much, much more affordable. But yeah, this is an interesting one because I've heard lots of people talk about this and say that there's ambroxan in it. And I do tend to struggle when I've got ambroxan in perfumes. And it's one of those things that even when I didn't know that there was ambroxan in it, initially. Like sometimes I'll be like, why does that smell a bit sharp on my skin? Why has it got that strange smell? I don't get that with this, and I'm not sure whether that's because it doesn't actually have ambroxan in it or because there's not enough of it to bother me. Because interestingly, I went and checked on the Diptyque website, and this is what it says. Bourbon vanilla retains its full duality, revealing a spicy facet of greater intensity. Sweet sugary notes of vanilla, the fruit of an orchid flower, are joined by luminous calamus accents and smoky cypriol accents. A new addiction. And then on Fragrantica, I think it literally just lists vanilla, calamus and cypriol. But it has a little thing up the top of Fragrantica, which is the only place that I've been able to find this where it's not just been quoted from Fragrantica. It says a perfume full of contrast, an infusion of bourbon vanilla with woody animalistic scent of rock rose and ambroxan. So I haven't seen rock rose and ambroxan listed anywhere else for this perfume. So I don't, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Oh yeah, it says, there you go. The notes on Diptyque are vanilla, pink peppercorn, cypriol and incense. So yeah, I don't entirely know. This is one of those kind of Versace Crystal Noir situations where I'm like, what are the literal notes? So what are the actual notes? Because it does smell, to me, like vanilla, pink pepper, cypriol and incense. That is what it smells like. But it still maintains some of the very sort of basic scent of the Eau Duelle EDT that I have. So that one, this bourbon vanilla, elemi resmin, cardamom, juniper, pink pepper, olibanum, black tea, bergamot, ambergris, musk and saffron. So there is definitely a quality in Eau Duelle that is tea-like, and I think maybe that's why I'm so in love with these. So I'd say about the EDP, because I'm going to do a comparison video, because I also managed to get for an absolute bargain, if you remember, the little EDT, like a half-used bottle of the 50ml. But I also recently managed to get a bottle that is also partially used, a 100ml one that's partially used, but one that's way more mature and the colour's changed. It's got darker, so that vanilla has kind of aged. So I managed to get that one for an absolute steal as well. So I'm going to do a little video about them. And anyone who's only interested in affordable perfumes, obviously you don't have to watch it. But this one, I think, is less green and more smoky. But I think essentially they're so similar. I really love them both. But I wore this one on Saturday when my mother-in-law came over to visit. And I gave my husband a couple of perfumes to choose from, and he sniffed this one and he went, oh yeah, that one. And this is the one that he likes. When he smells it from the bottle, he likes this one better than the EDT. So he likes the smokiness more than the greenness. That's what he says anyway. But then again, whenever I wear it, he seems to like and comment more on the EDT than this one. So I don't think this one is particularly stronger than the EDT. I think they're subtle. They're not quite skin scents, but not far off. They are a small scent bubble, a very gentle but really pretty trail. And the funny thing is, even when I'm not sure that I can smell it too much on my skin anymore, when I wake up in the morning after I've worn this, if I put my wrist up to my face, I can smell vanilla on it still. So it does linger. I think I just get used to it, and that's the case with this kind of thing as well. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love Eau Duelle. I think in terms of investing in something that's like £100, I mean, I think the EDP's more, but again, I see these come up quite regularly on eBay, so it's definitely worth looking out for partial or full bottles. This one actually came with the box. And like I said, I got it for £100. The EDP full size are like 75ml. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they're keeping the cost down, but the full size EDP is 100ml, which is annoying because now they don't match up in size. But anyway, this is one of the few perfumes, along with some of my Dior's and like Oh Mahali and some of the other diptyques I really like, that I genuinely believe is worth investing in. Like, you won't hear me say that often, but I mean, I'm sort of obsessed with it. So let's go from one that's expensive to one that cost me, I think at the time, about £7, and now you can get them for about a tenner, and I really need to, I'm going to get 2 backups of this. Like I said, I've been wearing a lot of really cozy things, so I wore Chill Out because I was at home. This is my Oriflame perfume that smells a little bit like Montguerlain. As you can see, getting through this one that lives next to my bed. I just love this. It only lists lavender, vanilla and cedar. But it definitely, to me, has a little bit, it's like it's got a hint of that Tonquéry sweetness you get in Montguerlain, and also a hint of the licorice kind of scent that you get. Oh. Again, like, gives me a little bit of the vibe of Twilight by Lush, but I just find it a little bit more wearable. I love this for bed. But I was wearing it all day because I just I didn't really want to wear my Montguerlain when I was just working from home and just being cozy on my own, because I have a little pen spray with my Montguerlain, which means that it's really easy to wear that one to actually out and about, because I can spray myself with the bigger bottle that my husband got me, and then from that same set I've got the little pen spray that I can take to work. So when I'm at home, generally speaking, this one. I was going to wear my Guess Seductive Noir, actually, but then again, because I've got a tiny 15ml bottle of that, that's perfect for travelling as well. So I was like, I might take that one down with me when I go to see my family next weekend. Okay, so I mean, I don't have much else to say about that except that I love it, and I fully intend on getting another bottle of it. It's just absolutely luscious. So, okay, I did my classic washing my hair with Daddy O shampoo from Lush, which is very heavily like sort of violet, Parma violet scented. So on the day that I did that, I put this on. This was my day perfume, and there it is, Stella McCartney Stella Pop Bluebell. So I went for the Bluebell one just because I think it's slightly less sweet. It actually goes very well with that Daddy-O smell, because Daddy-O, it does have a sweetness to it, but it's also got a lot of lemon juice in that, so it's quite sharp as well. And this one's much sharper than the original Stella Pop, but it is really nice. This one always shocks me when I first spray it, because when I first spray it, I'm like, oh no, that's so sharp, I'm not sure if I like it. And then it dries down into just a really pretty, not Barbie doll head version of Stella Pop, if you see what I mean. So this has been really interesting, actually, just to mention, because I love Sarah Mays, I watch her quite a lot, and whenever she talks about Stella Pop, the original, she talks about it just being like a bubblegummy tuberose and a synthetic sandalwood, and those being the only 2 notes. And I'm not really sure where that's come from, because everywhere I look at Stella Pop, it's got quite a few notes, and I genuinely think of Stella Pop as being a tuberose and violet perfume. Like, it really smells like violets to me, and it also has quite a lot of frangipani in it, and I feel like I can smell those as well as a tomato leaf. So this one is basically just dial down that really bubblegummy tuberose, dial down the sweetness, dial down the kind of creamy frangipani, and amp up the violet, and then add in a bluebell, like bellflower note. So I think this one is really good if you kind of like the smell of Stella Pop in some ways, but it's a bit too sweet, maybe a bit too syrupy, maybe a bit too much of a Barbie doll head smell, so a bit too plasticky. This one smells slightly less plasticky, a little bit more natural, a bit more white floral almost, even though these are purple florals. It's a little bit more of that vibe. But yeah, I mean, the actual notes listed for this are violet leaf, tomato leaf, green mandarin. That's the same as Stella Pop original. Bellflower, violet, tuberose and frangipani. The bellflower is the only thing that's different there. And then the base notes, musk, sandalwood and cedar. So yeah, I mean, as far as I can understand, this is exactly the same notes, but in different kind of amounts, and then with the bellflower added in. So it's still got that kind of essence of the original, but it's sharper, definitely. It's fresher, less syrupy, less plasticky. That's kind of just how I feel about this one. And it goes incredibly well if you want to wash your hair with Daddy O shampoo, and also I use the ultraviolet conditioner, so that smell goes incredibly well with this. I actually, when this had worn off, so I think I put this on in the morning, I can't even remember what time it was, but it would have been around probably 10 o'clock if I was being lazy. And then, yeah, so it would have been maybe about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening when I really couldn't smell much of this anymore. Anywhere near my hair or clothes, I could still smell it. But yeah, I put something else on in the evening. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But let's do this big one first. I just really like wearing this around the house. I think it's so pretty. I've barely made a dent, despite the fact I've worn this loads and I really overspray it. So this is God is a Woman, and this is the body spray version. I think I was so happy they've added the body sprays of the Ariana Grandes into Fragrantica, so I don't have to have a thing there anymore saying that I've got the actual perfume, because I don't have the perfume, because I got rid of that one because it had that tar note in it and I couldn't wear it and it was driving me insane. So, so that's why. But God is a Woman to me is just a gorgeous, fluffy ambrette, crisp, juicy pear, and a hint of rose. Like, that's what I get from this perfume. I think it's super pretty. The notes are listed as pear and muskmallow in the top, middle notes of orris and Turkish rose, base notes of Madagascar and vanilla. Madagascar vanilla and sandalwood is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, the joy of the body spray version of this is that it definitely doesn't have such a strong, or like hardly anything of that kind of tar note, and I found that really strong in God is a Woman. It's quite strong in Mod Vanilla and like Mod Blush. So those were perfumes that I really was like, ugh. Mod Blush was crazy. It's almost all I could smell in that one. Mod Vanilla, I think I might have actually quite liked as a perfume if it didn't have that tar note. But yeah, this, very nice. Sadly, there's a few Ariana perfumes that haven't ever come out as body spray. So, for instance, I can't get REM as a body spray, and that one I would really like to see whether that didn't have the tar note that puts me off. And again, the Mod perfumes don't seem to have come out as body sprays. I don't think the new version of Cloud or Cloud Intense ever came out as body sprays either. So I haven't really been able to try the other ones to see. But yeah, this is like when I don't want to use my Donna Aqua and it's also too hot to wear Burberry Brit. This is my pair of choice. I think this is beautiful, this perfume. I really, really like it. And it doesn't smell as expensive as those, but it's so pretty and it's so fun to wear. All right. I'm going to put this little spiky thing down here. So this is what I wore on the evening after I'd worn this one. And this I'm going to have to declutter this, guys. I have actually got I've taken a decant of this ages ago because I wanted to I took like a little spray with me to work, but I never really topped it up because this is actually surprisingly strong. So this is Ultraviolet from Paco Rabanne. It's in this cool bottle that is like a weird spaceship with this iridescence underneath. It's so cool. Ooh, rainbow. So this is one that I had when I was young. So like when I was literally in college, I think, is when this came out and when I had it. And it's a beautiful violet perfume, but I love how this smells. I genuinely do. I just really can't wear it. Like, I really struggle to wear this. It becomes like really sickly on me, and I just found it very sickly. And I've tried it in a few different types of weather and I haven't loved it. So now that I have I have so many perfumes that I actually actively love. It seems kind of insane to keep one that I don't love, So I think I'm probably just going to declutter this and then just keep the little sample so I still got it to smell, because I really like violet perfumes, but sometimes it's really hard to find the right ones or ones that like work well and are easy to wear. I think this one just gets so syrupy sweet that it becomes a little bit of a problem, because it's got an apricot in it, but it almost comes across as a kind of syrupy peachy smell to me. And I think that's what's throwing me off here, because I really love the spices. I love the violet. I just really want Lush Tuka Tuka. Is that how you say it? Tuka 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 Tuka? The one that I can only get as a pen spray. That's the one that I want. I want that perfume. I hope they bring it back so I can actually buy it just on its own. That's like my favourite. My favourite violet perfume was the Penhaligon's violet that they don't make anymore. That's the one that I always planned to get when I was younger, and I was like, when I'm older, I'll wear violet and I'll get the Penhaligon's. But they don't do it anymore. So anyway, I still don't think I've found my perfect violet. I love the pop range for a violet tuberose combination, but in terms of like an actual violet, I do like Lush V. That one's really good, but there's quite a strong cedar note in that almost gives it like a wooden, like violet perfume held in a wooden wardrobe kind of smell. And Curbside Violet is a little bit too, well, it's a bit too much of the Curbside for me, although I do still think it's pretty. So I want Tuka Tuka, because I really want something that just smells like a sweet daddy-o. I want something that actually smells like that perfume, that hair shampoo. Anyway, I digress. So the notes here are top notes of black pepper, orange pepper, pimento. So I think it's like, I'd say it's like a bell pepper, and then chili pepper, I think maybe is what they're trying to say here. Apricot, coriander, fresh almond, Brazilian rosewood, middle notes violet, jasmine, Japanese osmanthus, rose, and then the base notes vanilla, amber, patchouli, and cedar. I don't really get loads of cedar. I don't really get loads of patchouli. Maybe a bit of amber. There is definitely a warmth when this dries down, but it's very fruity. It starts a bit sharper, loads of violet. It's a bit spicy, and it's really so pretty. And then that apricot is really strong when it comes in. And I think that mixed with the osmanthus and probably some of the almond, just becomes a little bit sickly for me. And yeah, I would love smelling this on someone else. I think it's just one that I'm not very comfortable wearing. So yeah, I don't think there's much point in keeping it, because weirdly, I would have thought that by now, like, Ultraviolet wasn't particularly expensive, but to buy this new seems quite expensive. I got mine on eBay, and it was a used bottle, so it wasn't too expensive. Like, I think I got it for maybe about 20 quid. But I think this is normally way more expensive than that. I think you're talking like 40, 50 pounds. So yeah, I might as well just pass this on to someone else who's going to actually appreciate it. Okay. What should I do next? You know what? I might colour coordinate this a bit and just have this over here. Yeah, let's do that. That's kind of cool. Look at all the purples. Love it. It is absolutely peeing it down in the UK today. I'm doing this on the Saturday, and the weather has been wild. We had a single thunderclap today that was so loud that it really genuinely shocked me. You know that thing where you're like, out of nowhere there's suddenly a huge sound and your heart goes. It was one of those, and then there was like nothing. There was a massive bit of lightning, a huge thunderclap, and then kind of no more thunder. It was so strange. Anyway, yeah, great, lovely spring weather. Thanks. Classic UK. I'm going to go for this one next, because it's actually another Diptyque, but I only bought this one because I saw it for, I think, 30 quid including postage on Vinted, and I have seen this a few places for cheap, because this is a hair mist. So the thing with hair mists is obviously they're made to be more gentle, so you can wear them on your hair, but you can still wear them on your skin. So I thought, I'm going to try this. This is Ilio. And I wonder actually whether this is something that only comes out at summer, because I'm not sure if this is always on their website, but it's there at the moment, the actual perfume version, and they've got some body care stuff, so they might actually have the hair thing. So it's just this tiny little 30ml bottle. It's called Ilio, and the hair mists come in like a frosted bottle, so you can tell when they're a hair mist. But there's a few hair mists on. It's actually a really good, cheap way to get Diptyque perfumes. They don't have all of their perfumes. If only they had this in a hair mist. Oh my goodness, I would definitely buy that. But they have like Eau Capitale, I often see as a hair mist. I think is that the rose patchouli one? But this is a fruity iris perfume. Now the thing that's interesting about this is that it does give me a little bit of a vibe of Eau Maheli. I don't know why I say that in that accent. O'Maheli, I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyway, it's spelt kind of phonetically like Moheli, I think. That's the very fresh ginger and ylang ylang perfume that I have from Diptyque that I just think is so special. This one, I think, has a little bit of an overlap with the general scent profile of that, oddly enough. But it also has a slightly body lotiony smell that reminds me, in a very gentle way, of Lolita Lempicka Mon Petite, which is that one that's made for kids. So that one's linden blossom and almond and candied. Is it candied almond? I can't remember what else is in there. But this one is, let me just get the list up. So Ilio, this incredibly cute little bottle. This is prickly pear, iris, bergamot and jasmine. So I think at first I'm getting a hint of that bergamot, but mainly this is iris and prickly pear. I'm not getting massive amounts of jasmine. There's definitely a floral smell, but this starts off quite fruity and bright and summery, and then it dries down into smelling like an incredibly gentle, fruity iris, like light body cream. And normally body cream things freak me out a bit. This one really didn't. This one is really comfortable, and obviously because it's a hair mist, it's super light. It's like, I would compare it to something like a cologne spray rather than an eau de toilette. But again, like if you get this on your clothes, it lasts quite nicely, and you can spray it all over your hair. It's just, although I do believe there's still alcohol in this, so I wouldn't necessarily choose to spray it on my hair. I tend not to put perfume in my hair just because it's normally full of alcohol. And if you've got white hair, the last thing you need is to try and make it any drier. Let me just have a look. Yeah, there's still a bit of alcohol in this. But there's also a lot of water. Oh, and castor oil, so I guess, yeah, it's just really pretty. It's a really nice smell. I think this is specifically for summer, and it is quite light. It's weird, like I'd never really think of iris as a summery perfume, floral. But there you go. It's really pretty, really nice. You can get it for a steal. I think the person I bought it on from Vinted might have had a few of these. And I always wonder about that. I'm like, do these people work for Diptyque? Maybe. I don't know. But I've seen it on eBay as well. So definitely worth looking out. And yeah, so that's a little tip. If there's a Diptyque that actually has a hair mist, it's worth searching for that, because people just don't charge anywhere near as much for the hair mist, and that, so it's a quite good way of getting a scent you like from Diptyque. All right. Another really soft one that I wore this week. Really good. This is like a perfect working from home scent. So this is white tea, ginger lily. I've just got this little, I think it's a tiny little 30ml. Perfect size for me because I don't wear it that often. The white tea range can be slightly difficult for me, since I realised that some of them have that kind of tarry note in. They have that, I think in theirs it's normally called amberwood. I was a bit nervous when I first sprayed this out that this had the same, but actually it just has quite an obvious cedar note that you can really smell at first, and then it dries down, gets a little bit creamier. It's kind of like it's got a little bit of a crossover, generally speaking, with the like the indie profile, like Katy Perry's indie. It's like almost like a super sheer, summery, bright, juicy version of that kind of smell. But it's obviously, with this one, it's more fruity, it's citrusy, but it has that same kind of calming effect. It's like really soothing, calming. It's got Katy Perry's indie also has tea in it, right? It's got musk and tea and wood, and it's just got this kind of creaminess. It's the same with the white tea range. They have like a gentle creaminess, which is very different from the green tea, which is very crisp. This still is relatively crisp, but there's definitely like a fluffiness in the base. So this one is bitter orange, bergamot, mandarin orange and neroli in the top, middle notes of ginger, white ginger lily and violet in the mid, and then base notes musk, mate, cedar and tonka. And it's just really fresh, clean, white t-shirt kind of smell, white shirt smell. It smells like a grown-up lady who lives next to a beach, like a cool beach. Yep, it's just really pretty. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of perfect. By the way, if you guys want me to do a little working from home, perfumes for working from home video, I can probably do that, because I think some of these would be perfect. Okay, let's finish off with I just got the urge to wear this, and I'm so glad that I did. And I have had the urge to wear it again, but I'm wearing something else today. But it was so perfect for working from home. I'm not sure if everyone would feel the same, to be honest, but because, anyway, let me talk about it. This is L'Aimant from Coty. This is a perfume that is very similar to Chanel No. 5. So I say it's similar to Chanel No. 5, but obviously it is nowhere near as strong. It's much softer, fluffier. It's it's kind of a bit more flowery in a rose way, I think, this one. But it definitely has those crossovers with both Chanel No. 5 and Eclat d'Arpège. And when you first spray it, you definitely get that classic kind of nose-tingling, sharp soap bubble aldehydes. And that kind of indolic, funky, kind of slightly urinal smell you get from the really classic perfumes. But when it dries down, it just smells like a flowery soap. Like it's just so... It's kind of like a cross between baby powder and a very fancy white soap, like a French white soap with like flowers in it. It's just... And the thing is with this one, I wore the body spray of this when I was a kid, and my gran used to buy it for me for my birthdays and Christmas and stuff. And so it reminds me of her, which is obviously like always quite comforting. I mean, well, depending on if you got on with your grandma, right? But I did, and she's not with us anymore. So I just found myself feeling so cozy wearing this. And when it dried down, I couldn't stop sniffing myself. I was just like, oh. And this is the thing, right? Marilyn Monroe, there's a reason why she liked wearing Chanel No. 5 to bed or whatever, or Eclat d'Arpège that she also wear. I was watching an amazing video, actually, I'll link it down below, that you might have already seen, of a YouTuber who was talking about Marilyn's perfumes. She's done loads of kind of investigations into it, and I absolutely love history, so it was like, it's such a good video. And all of Marilyn's perfumes, it seems, all had that kind of general Chanel No. 5 DNA, and this one does as well. This is actually from the 20s, this perfume originally, and it's kind of magical. I'm literally smelling it now and thinking I'm probably going to spray this on in a minute, because I'm just wearing a musk today, so in fact I'm just going to put some on now. It just makes me happy, this one. Woo! Baby powder, aldehydes. Oh, I can taste it. So it's really quite like intense at first. Yeah, you've really got those hardcore aldehydic bubbles. So while this is drying down, it is top notes of aldehydes, neroli, peach and bergamot. Middle notes of ylang ylang, rose, jasmine, geranium and orchid. Base notes musk, vanilla, sandalwood, tonka bean, vetiver and Virginia cedar. Hardcore aldehydes in the top. This isn't massively sharp. It's definitely not as green as Chanel No. 5, and it's not as hardcore intense as Arpège either. It's softer. It's a little bit more girly. I think it might be slightly sweeter. I'm trying to remember if Chanel No. 5 has oak moss in it. I think it does, and I don't think this one does. It's so pretty, honestly. I get quite a lot of ylang ylang and rose. And what I was thinking is that when this dries down, it definitely has that kind of... And I think I've said this before about Chanel No. 5 as well. It has a Jovan musky kind of smell. It's like the musk, the sandalwood, and some of the florals in this really have just that classic 70s musk smell. So it's almost like in the 70s they went, well, we'll just remove some of the more perfumey kind of obvious notes from Chanel No. 5 and we'll just have it stripped back down to its kind of more basic musk elements. And that's kind of what I get. But then like with that kind of baby powdery, you know what actually, I feel like the Mayfair musk I have is a little bit like this one. So maybe for my American viewers, if you can get hold of Coty L'Aimant, which honestly, I think it cost me £5 for the 50ml bottle. It's a classic cheap Coty, and I say cheap with all the love in my heart. I love a cheapie. It is a cheapie, and it is an absolute banger of a cheapie. If you don't want to spend money on Chanel No. 5, but you want something that smells like it, because even arpege, if you buy that full price, is maybe like 40-50 quid. And you can't really get it for, even second hand, you can't really get that for like under 25. You can get this for way cheaper. I think it's even more feminine. It's a bit more fluffy. I think it's much easier to wear. Nowhere near as strong. But yeah, it's like, it's not quite as sweet as the Mayfair musk that I have, that I know people in America said they couldn't get hold of. But this really does share a lot of similarities. Yeah, I'm smelling it and I'm thinking of that one a little bit. That one I think has rose and iris, and this is rose and ylang. But it just takes me back to being a kid. I used to love the body spray of this, and my nan used to get me like a little set that was like a body spray and a soap, and I used to put the soap in my drawers so that my socks and my t-shirts and stuff smelt nice. I still sometimes do that, to be honest, with a nice soap. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, is if you cannot get hold of Mayfair musk, then I feel like Coty L'Aimant actually has a little bit of a feel of it. It's not as sweet, and it doesn't have the iris, but it's definitely in that same ballpark. And I'm so digging this right now. My husband wasn't here on the day that I wore this, so I don't know what he thinks about it, but I'll tell you what, I've resprayed it on my wrist now, so I'm just gonna put it on my neck, and if he comments on it, I'll let you know next week. Because it'll be in my next week one as well. So I won't go on about it next week. I'll just be like, I told you, he either hated it or he loved it or he just didn't mention it or whatever. So anyway, that was my week. Let's see what's happening. Oh, guys, I've got a good one coming up on Wednesday. I was waiting for something to arrive so I could finish it off. I've got some alternatives to a more expensive perfume. So I was waiting for the little mini of the expensive perfume to arrive so I could actually make the video. I did that this week, so that's going to be up on Wednesday. And then I'm going to be posting my next week's version of this late, I'm afraid, because I'm going to my parents' house. I'm going to visit my family, and I'm going on Friday lunchtime straight from work, and I won't be back until Monday, so I'm not going to be here to film it, and I'm not going to have a chance to film it before I leave. So I will let you know what I was wearing on Monday, because I've got Monday off, so I'm going to film it on Monday and I'll post it on Monday, so it'll be a day late. But yeah, I'll let you know, and then I'll be able to let you know what I wore at my parents' as well, because I try to tailor my perfumes a little bit to stuff that my mum isn't going to be too bothered by, because she doesn't really like perfumes. She gets headaches. She's very sensitive to them. I wonder why I'm such a fusspot. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please do consider subscribing. If I manage to get to 2,000 subscribers, I will do a Q&A. So, and then you can ask me questions and I can see whether I'm actually comfortable to answer some of them. But anyway, tell me what you've been wearing. Tell me if you smell any of these. Tell me if you have L'Aimant. The memories. And I have to say, I think for a cheapie, it's a rather beautiful bottle. It's got a bit of a cheap cap, but I love this Art Deco. Give me Art Deco and Art Nouveau all day. Thank you very much. Especially in glass. I just can't get enough. All right. Bye, guys.